You're listening to Nomad's Place podcast, where career musicians talk about what really happens in the studio, on stage, behind the scenes, and everywhere else imaginable. But most of all, they share their personal insight of what it takes to make it in this crazy business of music. In this episode, I'm talking to the band and crew guys with Babyface about touring protocol. Hey, Test, here we are.
Hey.
So I got the KBE crew and band with me, are partial members of each. KBE stands for Kenny Babyface Edmonds, as we like to refer to it. And we are leaving Prim, Nevada, Buffalo Bills. We just did a gig last night, February 15th, I believe, right? Was the gig?
Yep.
2015, and now we're heading home. Most of us, I believe, reside in LA. A couple other places. We got
Lake Tahoe,
and we got
Arizona.
All right, and the other four guys are going back to LA. Burbank, that is, and I iterate Burbank because you know, if you're a musician that lives in LA, a working musician, you know, if you can, you get those tickets in and out of Burbank because it's the easiest airport to commute to and from. Anyway, we'll get into that in a second.
Right.
But let me introduce everybody. Over here towards the front, we got Mike Brown. He is famed guitar tech to the stars. Also Kenny Babyface Edmonds and myself, amongst other stars. Say hi, Mike. Hello. Right next to him, we got James Agnew, drummer to the stars, and he is our newest new guy. New guy. Say hello, James.
What's going on? How y'all doing out there, man?
Yeah, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, man, but I reside in LA now, man.
Okay, and Mike, you're originally from
Cincinnati.
So we got Cleveland and Cincinnati. All right. And over here to my left, with the cool shades,
Hola.
we got Mr. Brandon Coleman. He is an LA native, correct?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué tal?
I love it. So he just said hello. Okay, that's his name, Brandon Coleman, and he is a keyboard player to the stars and also a composer, producer. But everybody, all the musicians are composer, producers in their own right. A lot of the crew guys are also composers, producers, musicians in their own right as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't ever talk to somebody as if they're not privy to the things that you are, because you never know who's involved with what. And over here in the back, taking the tough seats over here because it's so scrunched up, we got Hal Dieter, our lighting director. Say hi, Hal.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. Lighting director to the stars. And next to and Hal, you're originally from?
I am originally from Maryland, Washington, D.C.
Maryland, D.C. Love it. And we have Terry Jackson next to him. TJ.
Hello, mate. Hello.
And Terry is sound engineer. And we call it FOH, which stands for front of house. Mm-hmm. And to the stars and everybody else. And he's with us today. So that's everybody in the car. In the back of the car, of course, we have our driver. Hey, driver, thank you, sir, for the safe ride. So again, this whole series that I'm talking about is traveling on the road and having professional courtesies, knowing how to conduct yourself, and whether it's the driver or whether it's the stagehand or whether it's the person taking ticket stubs, you have to be kind to everybody. You have to have a certain level of professionalism and courtesy, and why not? And if you greet people with a smile, even when you don't feel like it, and I'm talking to myself because I can be the grumpiest grump in the world, but but I try to overcome that at all times because it's just better for the whole environment. So, before we got in the van to roll, it's funny, when you're out on the road, a lot of you develop a relationship. It's like your second family.
Yes.
So we all become tight, right? 5 minutes ago, we were talking about being late for lobby call. Yeah. So, what does that mean to us? And you know what, Terry, you tell us, what does lobby call mean to you, man?
It means not to make anybody else late.
Right.
Let's start with that.
There you go.
It's having respect for the time.
Right. I love it. Hal, what does lobby call mean to you?
I like to call it Vince Lombardi time. He always said, when you have an 8 o'clock call, you show up 15 minutes early. 8 o'clock means you're ready to go, ready to start. Doesn't mean to show up.
Love it. Brandon?
Yeah, I'm with Hal. Yeah, I like to show up about 15 minutes early just so I can weigh out any, you know, foreseeable instances with room charges or whatever. So
Okay, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. James?
Man, it's like TJ said again, man, just respecting other people's time, and
Yeah.
you know, that's pretty much the gist of it.
I have to agree with the guys. That's what it really comes down to. It's just showing appreciation for everybody else and their time and being on time.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the things that you have to do in order to be prepared for a lobby call, because a lot of cats think, oh man, if it's 8 o'clock, if it's 8 a.m., I could sleep in, I got an easy morning, that's a piece of cake. I'll wake up at 7:30, throw on some clothes and be down there. No. Because you brought up a good point. Room charges.
Oh, yeah.
room charges.
Let's discuss that.
Check out. Room charges, check out, and the whole nine, you know.
Right.
And just being prepared and just being ready to go.
Right. See, some cats don't realize that, when you go, a good tour manager, an experienced tour manager, will show up ahead of time and have all the rooms pre-checked in. So he or she will stand there when you get into the hotel, greet you in the lobby, hand you your keys, bam, you're in. Easy peasy. How they do that is they take the tour company credit card and they put it down for all the incidentals on all the rooms. Here's the issue. You have to be responsible enough to know that when I check out of this joint, I better pay for my own incidentals. Otherwise, I'm going to get a call or I'm going to get talked to by the tour manager or higher up the chain.
Oh, yeah.
And next thing you know, they say, listen, back when you were in such and such, you had a charge for $87. And in the other city, you had $82. And before that, you had $56. Why are you not checking out and paying your incidentals? Okay, well, don't worry, Mr. Rapole. We're going to take it out of your check. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. So that's a good one, right? Yeah. Done. Bam. I love it. Now, there is a term called oil spotting. And Hal, would you care to elaborate on that one?
I have to say that if you get spotted once, you'll never do it again, because it can cost you a lot of money to get to your gig, and you could lose your job.
There you go. And Hal, speaking from experience, he was on a very, very big tour, and we won't name, all the artists and stuff, but he was on a huge celebrity tour, and although it didn't happen to him, he witnessed it happening to other people. So, it is real. It does exist. So there you have it. So be on time for your lobby calls. Let's talk about other things. Let's talk about travel. I'm a terrible traveler. I am definitely prone to motion sickness of every kind. Any kind of a moving vessel, I will lose my stuff, man. I will toss my cookies. So what I have to learn how to do is figure out how to travel the smartest way. Right now, the guys are laughing because they're like, there's so many jokes here. Yeah, there's so many jokes. What I got to figure out is how to travel all day. Like, man, this is a great story because of what we went through yesterday and the night before. I know for me, I have to eat every 2.5 to 3 to 4 hours at the most to keep my blood sugar consistent, and then that'll help me not to get as nauseous. But I always get nauseous, I always get headaches, and that's just gonna happen. I always have to stay hydrated too. And then a lot of times I request, well, most of the time, let's just say all the time, I request the front seat of the ground transportation vehicle. So if it's a car or a van, I always say, hey, let me sit in the passenger seat up front. Today we're in like this limo thing, so I'm kind of in the back, but I'm sitting by the window and I requested that. Now, there have times when I have requested these seats in not the nicest manner, but I will say, again, speaking to myself, it's important to ask everybody, yo, fellas, I'm sorry, but please let me sit up in the front, because otherwise I'm going to be sick, you know?
No, getting down early, you can always grab that seat too.
See? Those little tricks like that, man. If you're the first one down, you take your personal bag, you stick it on the seat, you're like, yo, guys, I'm calling that seat. You know, little things like that.
Especially if you're starting a tour, that first day when that bus pulls up.
Yes.
That's the first general rule.
Set the precedence.
You better be the first person so you can be able to pick your bunk or pick wherever you're gonna be at and so forth. And a lot of times, cats don't know that. So they show up and don't have the best bunk or the best, they show up late and don't know what's happening.
That is so true.
Right? I got in an argument because he got on the bus and he's just like, oh yeah, well, I need this for my bag. I was like, bro, listen, I've been on this bus for an hour. I put my stuff on the bunk. That's the rules, man. And he's just like, this is ridiculous. So he went to the tour manager and he brought the tour manager on the bus. And the tour manager is like, so what's the issue? And I've already told them that I need this bunk. And Brandon apparently wants, it's not letting me have this bunk. And he's like, well, were you here first? And he's like, well, no, I just got. He's like, well, first come, first serve. That's general tour rules. He's like, and if you don't know that, now you know.
Now you know. Actually, you know, it's funny. I don't know if I prefer bus tour or fly dates. Let's take a poll on that.
Bus tour.
I
take bus tour all day.
Really? You too, Mikey? Everybody?
Yeah.
Bus tour.
Bus tour, bro.
You get
You
more
can
rest.
sleep at night. More rest.
The sleep, I don't know, no bus versus planes, on up and up.
Up and down, security and all that.
Yeah.
Security,
Bus tour, you get some of the best sleep, especially after show.
Oh
things like
man,
that.
the after show hang on the
Oh,
bus.
yeah.
That's
It's
the best.
the best.
That's the best.
After show.
That's really
hangs.
where you get to know the guys. that you're out
Yes,
with,
the
too.
hang,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? That's
Right.
the.
You
And
know.
you got kind of a party lounge on the days off that you can go out to and hang.
There you
And
go.
then in bus food.
Oh, it's bus.
Bus food.
See that?
Hey.
Well, let's talk about this to maybe some of the young. I love that. Some of the young players out there who might not have done these big tour yet, and they're looking forward to their first bus tour, quote unquote. Let's talk about that. So when the guys refer to bus food,
Show.
after show,
food.
that's what they usually call it.
After show food.
So what'll happen is you do the show, and then the tour manager, or usually a production assistant or a tour manager's assistant, will be in charge of ordering some after show food that they bring on the bus. Now, let's talk about this after show food, because they'll say, yeah, let's order a bunch of pizzas. That sounds great. Let's order a bunch of chicken wings. That sounds great. Let's have some beers. That sounds great. Okay, hold on a minute. Well, let's talk about health.
Exactly.
So you want to eat chicken wings, pizza, and beer every night after the show? Let me tell you something. If you're going to be out for 3 months, you do not want to do that to your body. So you got to start thinking like that. Now, you might get out there and it's fun. The first few nights, you're all excited. You're like, oh, this is cool, man, you know. But again, you have to keep in mind, you are in constant motion. You're on the go all the time. And if you don't take care of yourself, it's going to start to catch up with you. So let's talk about, I know Brandon, for instance, is a vegetarian. How many times have you run into that?
Well, I'm. You know, my whole thing is, I'm like, you know, I make it known that I'm vegetarian from the get-go, and that's the thing, though. Everybody will always be jealous for that reason, because you know they come in with 7 boxes of pizza, you know, and soda, and the whole 9, you know, and then you got this little salad over here for Brandon. So you know, I mean.
See, Brandon brings up a great point.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, I've been on tour for years. So, been on tour for years and eating that food, you just get tired of it.
The reoccurring theme that I'm noticing here from everybody is that you're kind of laying claim to your space and your things without being a jerk about it. You're being diplomatic about laying claim to what you need. So you come on the tour, you say, "Hi, Mrs. Tour Manager. This is my name. This is who I am." So that we like a lot of times, again, a tour manager who's experienced, they'll send out ahead of time via email.
Personal profile.
Yeah, the profile. Thank you. The personal profile.
Yeah.
So your name and all the usual stats. But then it says, "What kind of seat do you prefer on the airplane? Window, aisle?" Nobody says middle. I mean, come on. So what kind of food do you like to eat? Are you a vegetarian? Are gluten-free, lactose intolerant? You know, you can get kind of detailed, but you got to, again, try to just hit the basics. You know, all these different things. Oh, another one huge on your traveler profile or personal profile is your frequent flyer mile numbers, right?
Super important.
Super important. You know, so all these things, again, laying claim about what you need to make your daily regimen as normal as possible, because we all know living on the road is not normal. That is not a normal life. So you got to try to keep some kind of routine going.
And also, smoking lounge in the back or front.
Huge.
Sometimes we talk about that.
A designated area.
So they can enjoy themselves.
Sometimes it's, you know, just not allowed at all, and you have to do it while the bus is stopped outside or step out. Because it is terrible being on a bus with people smoking.
There you go. Yeah. So a lot of times they will designate that. But you know, outside is always a good thing. Say, of course, nowadays with hotels and airports and restaurants, there's no smoking anywhere. So a lot of times the guys that do, you know, smoke cigarettes are like, man, shoot, I need to find a smoking lounge. So that's kind of built into that, you know. You know, it's funny, we're riding in this limo. It's like an SUV type limo. But just a second ago, we hit those bumps on the road, those loud bumps that let you know that you're veering off. And how many times have we all heard that when we're in our bunk on the bus?
Man.
Is that the scariest?
And then you get up, you're like, all right, hey, buddy, you need some coffee?
Sleep up there, are you? Hey, I'm gonna just come up and just ride. Come on. I'm gonna get in the seat next to you.
Come on.
Just talk to you for a minute.
You gotta do that.
I'm telling you, man, you gotta keep the bus driver engaged, man. You gotta keep him, you know, up, because that does happen. And it can be a little scary, you know. situation. You know,
Especially when you're going through mountains.
Oh,
and,
bro, and it's nighttime.
Oh.
You know, all these different things, man. It's- yeah, man. There's a lot that
You're
goes into the
basically
job.
trusting your life to this guy. So you
Yeah,
better be
sure.
nice to him.
Yeah,
Yes.
real talk on everything.
I mean,
man.
and that's
Or he'll do it on purpose. I've heard of a couple bus drivers say like if the people aren't nice to him, they'll wait till they're good and sleep from a long night, and he'll get on the side and hit the little rubber, roll joints,
Yeah.
and he'll just wake everybody up. Oh my God, it's tragic.
Man, that's awesome.
So, what is the recurring theme here? Be nice to
Be
your
nice
bus
to-
driver.
be nice to the
You
bus
know?
driver.
But not only don't just be nice for self-serving
everybody.
reasons. I mean, you got to be nice to everybody. But think about it again. These guys, they're taking everyone's life in their hands. It's a serious job. There's lots of insurance. There's lots of responsibilities. But I always do that. Especially like you said, if you're going to start a little run, you're going to be out for 3-4 weeks. Hang with the bus driver. Get to know him. Find out what he likes to drink. Bob, what do you like? You like a Coke? You like a Diet Coke? You like a Pepsi? You like a Sprite? You like just water? You like hot tea? You like whatever you need, man.
Yeah.
Because while he's driving, you can go in the back, prepare it for him, bring it up to him, and be like,
Make
dude,
him a little sandwich.
I'll have a Coke.
You
Yeah,
know,
what do you like to eat?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Things
personally
like that.
like to ride in the front because you got a great view. And
The jump seat.
I've talked to
Best
drivers
jump
all the
seat,
time
yeah.
forever, man. It's the best.
And drivers have the best stories, don't
Yeah,
they?
they do. They're great guys.
Yeah, and those jump seats now, especially nowadays, everybody's so video conscious, video blogging and everything. I like to go up, sit up there, and get really cool video footage.
Oh
man.
yeah, that's the best.
I get that,
Those
yeah.
big bay windows, you see
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
It's like,
Definitely.
There was one time I was like in the top foyer of the bus, and I don't think he knew I was up. But I always went up there. That was like my hang. So I'm just knocked out, sleep. And then I just remember I looked and I just saw a bird coming. And I was like, oh! And I'm just over here screaming, oh! And he can hear me from down there. So I run down there. I'm like, man, did you see that? He's like, oh, it happens all the time. And he's just driving.
A top foyer on a bus. So what are you talking about?
Well, bus, yeah. They don't have those out here.
It's overseas.
Europe.
That's what I'm getting at. So fill us
Deckers,
in.
they call it.
The people who
The
don't know,
double-deckers,
fill us
right?
in. Double-decker buses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of a overseas
A European,
European
yeah.
type of look. You know what I mean?
But I always wonder why
we
aren't
don't
those
have
buses
them?
out here?
They're more efficient actually. You got more space.
More space.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much more space in
yeah,
the bus,
yeah.
man. I was like, okay, what is happening? Like, why don't we have 2 decks?
I think
They got to do with overpasses. And
The overpass is they're not high enough.
okay.
There you go.
Okay.
That's certain clearance. How about when the bus driver has to go to New York City? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
Oh, that is
If there's
the worst.
nowhere, there's always nowhere to park.
Nowhere to park.
So he's gonna be grumpy about that.
be
'cause
stressing
He's
about
got to
it,
park probably
Syracuse.
miles and miles away,
Yep.
and then try to get a cab back to the city, then get a cab back to the bus
Yep.
to come pick us back up from the hotel. It's a lot, man. I'll applaud bus drivers and things like that, man.
Yeah.
Just show appreciation, man.
Right.
The people who like to be feel appreciated, and that's a huge thing.
You know what? It's similar to like when you fly all the time. Like for me, whenever I see a captain, an airplane pilot, I'm like, man, how you doing, sir? Thank you for a safe flight, or you just try to chum up with him, talk to him, or ma'am, whatever, just be cool because again, everyone's life is in their hands, right?
And on security-wise, rule number 1, when you leave the bus, lock the door. Everybody's stuff
man.
inside.
It's the last 2 buttons, if you don't know.
That's it. The last 2 buttons hit them at the same time.
Every bus.
Any bus you go on. Even the double deckers we were just talking
There you
about.
go. The last 2 buttons lock it. You don't want everybody's valuables getting. Man, that is so good. And again, the tour manager or the bus driver, he or she will tell you the code, so you can unlock it.
I cannot tell you how many times I've gone on that bus and just usually the buses are parked, on a big parking lot, across somewhere or somewhere near the venue. And I walk all the way to this bus, man, it was open.
And everybody's bags, with all their stuff in it.
Yeah.
So you have your iPad, your laptop, your phone. You might have money. You might have passport. You might have instruments. Circling back to the airport with the buses. So we came from. What did we do this run? We started in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But most of us flew. A lot of us flew from LA all the way to Pennsylvania. We did the gig there, and then the next morning after the show, we drove from Pennsylvania to New York, which is easy. That's always like a little quick deal. That's no problem. And then we had a show in Manhattan at the Madison Square Garden Theater, and then we had to fly all the way back to Vegas and then from Vegas drive to Primm, Nevada, right? So what happened was the Northeast got hit by this crazy blizzard, Neptune.
Right.
Boston got the brunt of it. I heard did they get like 8 feet of snow or something? Isn't that insane?
They got 8 feet?
8 feet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's just nuts.
Boston? Oh, so it did hit them hard.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's crazy, dude.
I feel bad for those guys.
So then what happened was during the day at the Madison Square Garden, we started realizing the flights were going to be canceled. So the tour manager and the manager were on it to start booking other options. The problem was there were no options going out from New York. So what did we have to do? We jumped in a bus, but not an actual tour bus. We jumped in like a passenger bus, you know, and we had to drive from New York to D.C., Dulles, Washington Dulles Airport.
In the middle of
the night. But wait, in the middle of the blizzard.
Of the blizzard. Oh my Lord.
At night, 5.5 hour drive. But thank God for our production manager and front of house engineer, Mike Droke, who knew a guy, he knew a bus driver who was like ready to go, Johnny on the spot. He just showed up, bam. Now we had to pay him cash. But that guy got us there, you know. So let's talk about that. Unexpected things that arise, you know. I mean, that's huge, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, that ride was crazy, right?
That ride was crazy.
I mean, so then we went from there to DC, and then we had to get, so the 5.5 hour drive, jump on the plane in DC and fly 6 hours to Vegas. Fellas, care to discuss our wonderful travel day yesterday? Mike, we haven't heard from you.
Man, it was a long day yesterday, I have to say. I don't think I've slept in probably 2 days. I got a little sleep last night, but I don't sleep well on moving objects too much. And the bus, and then we got on the plane, and then we went right from when we got to the venue, we went right to the stage, and it was just non-stop. But it all works out in the end.
Yeah, but the no sleep last night was your own fault.
So some nights you can attest the no sleep to logistics, but then others, it's on you.
It's on you.
So again, that's another thing to keep in mind. You got to take care of yourself. You know, you got to get sleep when you need it.
Yeah, you do.
But that travel day was nuts yesterday. Let me talk about this. The crew guys. You know, a lot of musicians may not know that crew guys, for the most part, first of all, they've been around longer than you. They've been doing this longer than you. And they're in the game because they're very experienced and they keep getting called because they know their job so well. Typically, a good crew guy, no matter what his role, is like an invaluable team member. Let's talk about a front of house guy or a front of house guy / production manager. Man, if you don't have that, that's the team leader. If you don't have a good one of those at the helm, you're going to be in trouble. But don't forget. Here's the key. Musicians, no matter how tired you are, no matter how many hours you put in of travel and or work, no matter how grumpy you are, how hungry you are, how sick you're feeling, crew guys have it at least twice as bad, but really, they have triple the amount of impact on them. I mean, if a musician gets 4 hours of sleep, then the crew guy probably got 1 to 2 hours.
Exactly.
If that. If the musicians got to go eat a nice lunch when they arrived at a city, day of show, well, guess what? The crew guys can't do that. They got to go right to the venue and hustle like you guys did yesterday, right? Let's talk about that. How did you guys get in? How did you get food in? What'd you do?
I ate at the airport before I left.
There you go.
And
Did after sound check.
yeah, I didn't get a chance. So it's you love what you do, so you gotta, as they say, the show must go on, kind of thing. So I mean, it's not healthy, try to avoid that, but.
That's true. Thank God they had a good little spread in the green room yesterday.
Yeah.
They had cold cuts and some raw vegetables with dip and things like that. That's another good topic to talk about, right?
Always out for the buyout.
Opt for the buyout. What's a buyout?
Okay.
Who can tell us what a buyout is?
It's when a promoter is usually provides food for the gig, lunch and dinner and so forth, and if they don't provide catering, they usually have to give to each musician and crew member.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somewhere, right? It could vary.
Yeah. Anywhere from $25 to $50.
Right.
I say I've gotten buyouts as low as 15,
I've
but I've
gotten
gotten them
buyouts.
up to 50.
I've gotten buyouts for like 100.
Yeah, well that's.
And I'm like,
It just depends.
is this a buyout or is this?
It's like with anything else. The higher up the the higher up the ladder you go.
But they're ones.
With the,
So why would your tour manager give you $100 in ones?
with tours and stuff, the more money you're gonna get, like on per diem.
You must ask these questions.
You must. Let me tell you, it's so funny. I had a merch guy. So merch, by the way, is short for merchandise, and those are usually guys, the guys or girls, the people who are out in the venue selling T-shirts and all that swag. You know what we call swag. Anyway, a good buddy of mine who's a merch guy, Craig McEnroe. I guess he's getting ready to go overseas, and he asked me in passing. He's like, "Hey, by the way, what's a good per diem number for international, for non-domestic?" And I said, now this is an interesting topic because musicians and crew guys, we all feel very strongly about it. We want a higher per diem.
Yes.
Now management feels exactly the opposite because it's a manager's job to save money. It's a musician and crew guy's job to be comfortable. So we're like, man, I need to get at least 75 if I'm overseas.
Exactly. Yeah. The $35 per diem is not the same $35 per diem once you go to London. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
That $35 is gonna buy you a coffee and
A bagel.
a
croissant,
bagel,
and that's it. Yeah, that's it. No, it's true.
Literally.
some black pudding.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You just don't have time to go walk into the town and find a little coffee bagel shop to get a quickie cheap. So you say, man, I got to order room service, or I'm going to go down to the lobby and get a nice breakfast. Not that you like fancy, but so you go down, you're thinking, oh man, I'll get some oatmeal, some eggs, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, that breakfast was $35.
Oh, easy.
Oh, you want a coffee and orange juice with that, sir?
easy.
That's $35.
Easy.
You're like, wait a minute, I just spent my whole per diem on breakfast. So
What's this chart? What's this $5? Oh, that was for the smile I gave you when you walked in. Holy crap! I didn't want you to smile. I'm kidding.
it is so true. It's true. So I mean, I say for me, this is me in my experience. $50 domestic, at least 75 to 100 non-domestic.
Yep.
Sound like Amen. Okay, good.
General consensus across the board.
There you go. Hey, fellas, I really appreciate you taking the time again. This is the KBE Band and Crew, 2015 February, and this is Nomad signing off here at nomadsplace.com, aka Michael Rapole, and I am the music director, guitar player for Babyface, amongst other things, and I am honored to be in the presence of such greatness every day when I'm out here with these musicians and crew members. I really appreciate all you guys. You guys are the top. Couldn't ask for better. So, all right, we'll see you next time.
Signing out.
To follow me, Nomad, on a musical journey all over the globe, be sure to sign up for my newsletter at nomadsplace.com for free giveaways, guitar lessons, concerts, and more. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow Nomad's Place on all of your favorite social media sites. Like what you heard? Please write a review on iTunes for a higher profile rating so we can keep the shows coming at you right here from Nomad's Place. Once again, this is Nomad. Don't sweat it, fret it. I'm just a nomad, nowhere man, writing the songs in this one-man band. A nomad.